we actually don't really care about the case.
It's been almost 2 months since Candace Owens has been carrying out what she terms an investigation. And for that time, I have observed, and so have many, that she is not actually carrying out any sort of investigation. But every time we brought it up, many of our fans are under the comment section screaming, insulting, calling us, saying we're jealous because Candace Owens has millions of followers and I, for one, would die with my 1,000 or 2,000 followers. And that Candace Owens is well known and who am I? A nobody. The theme is pretty clear. According to most individuals, popularity gives credibility for someone to offer their advice to them, which means if you are in need of a lawyer, you can contact Kim Kardashian. At least she even wrote the exam a couple of times, even though she passed the baby bar. You can contact her because she should be the most famous person in the world. So apparently, she should have good advice for you when it comes to everything you need to know. Because in terms of popularity, Candace Owens has not seen popularity compared to Kim Kardashian. Now, if it comes to popularity, maybe you can contact Meghan Markle. She will tell you she was a princess, okay? The lady was princess of Wales. Is it princess of Washington or what? Whattington? Some of that tongue. The British in the comment section, please don't kill me. Your lady is still learning the ways of the British Isles. Now, when you tell people about these little innuendos, the tactics and methodology Candace Owens carries out, normal day-to-day simple investigation, school procedures. There is always a procedure to carry out any small investigation you're carrying out, right? Yes, there are always ethical tactics for real investigation. There are procedures for real investigation, which everybody makes sure that they have. But then Candace Owens has always indicated in more ways than one that she is not carrying out an investigation. But once you mention it to her millions of followers, ooh, they call you jealous. They call you a nobody who is just jealous of Candace, who just wants to be. It's pretty laughable. But then, out of the aspect of me, I have always told people in my videos, if you are somebody who has been part of my channel for the shortest time, I always tell you, when it comes to Candace, let her talk. And she will tell you exactly what her intentions are. She might flip and tell you, and you might not understand it at that moment because most people just listen to Candace, they don't hear her. Many people listen, they don't hear Candace. There is a difference. And most people take the understanding Candace gives them at the moment she feels like it. And if she changes the understanding of the statement tomorrow, ooh, it's perfect. Candace could tell them, this morning, the weather said the sun was shining at 43 degrees. And everybody will be like, wow, the sun was shining at 43 degrees. If tomorrow she says it was 43 degrees, but it was raining, there was no sun shining, they'll say, oh, we get it now, queen. Because that is the code she has built. And she's accepted it. She doesn't pretend about that, okay? You could bounce over yourself, going over yourself, trying to tell anybody what they will not accept. But the truth is this: wisdom is coming into your own understanding of that what you have to accept is what you have to realize on yourself, by yourself, because no one can make, especially adults. If it is teenagers, it's different. If it's teenagers, yeah, you could say maybe with discussions and sometimes some things they could get to a certain place. But with adults just require coming into understanding of what they are hearing, understanding of what they are listening to. Candace Owens has proven time and time again she's not carrying out an investigation, but no one cared because she goes on a rampage, throwing everybody's names out there. Let me ask you a question. If a thief enters the neighborhood and kills one of yours in the neighborhood and you want to investigate that thief, and you know that that person is not just a thief, that person is a serial killer who gets off from killing people just out of if you are trying to maybe disturb what they like doing. Now, you're trying to find that thief, and then you wake up the next morning. You are the you're the investigative team, and you wake up and you say, oh, Veronica down the street, she said she saw the thief. Yes, she saw the thief and she has footage of the thief, even though Veronica has not told you that. Veronica is sitting innocently. What do you think will happen to Veronica the next night? Veronica is about to go boo-boo bye. And now let's assume that maybe the investigative team did not know that that will happen. They say they threw that out there, and then Veronica ends up ended. Now, you as an investigative team, wouldn't you be more careful and follows more procedure when you find out information or how you say things because you don't want to end up hurting another individual? Imagine now that that team wakes up again the next night. Oh, Lisa now has the tapes of the person who killed the first victim. She has the tapes of the person who ended the first victim and Veronica. What do you think is going to happen to Veronica? And when they say that they don't put people guarding the Lisa's door, they don't keep people there to protect her, no measures are taken, they just throw that information out there, and Lisa is just a single lonely mother who lives alone with her little baby. You know what's about to happen to her, right? That is exactly what Candace has been doing. She throws anybody and everyone under the bus, throws your name out there, and let people go out fishing. So imagine that the person who hurt Charlie, who ended Charlie's young life, is a maniac. And Candace says, according to her, she doesn't believe it is Tyler Robinson. And now these other people you're just throwing out there, and you're just fishing. Imagine you have 5 million followers, and you have told them, listen, the person who has been arrested, forget about that person. I am looking for who did this act, and it's not the person who has been arrested. Then you wake up today, you throw out Phil Lyman. People go after Phil Lyman. The next day you throw out this one, they go after it. You throw out the Mormons, they go after it. You throw out the bees. Even the bees caught astray. The bees community caught astray. You throw out the airline company, you throw out military, you throw out this one, you throw out pastors, you throw out junior, you throw out this one. People keep going after them. At what point does the following of Candace realize that she is just playing catch and nothing is ongoing? But you know what? They still kept telling us that, oh, we are just being jealous. But you know what she finally did? She finally said it to their face. We don't care about the case. She said it. And she said she doesn't care about it because Tyler Robinson didn't do it or didn't do it alone. Let me ask you a question. If that thief I gave in the hypothetical situation before, the person who murdered someone in the neighborhood, if the investigative team realizes that that person did not do it alone, it was a cahoot, some people, a gang of individuals who came together and did it, or if they find out that the person who has been arrested to have done the act was not the one who did the act, wouldn't you be more interested to know who did it by being careful and investigating to know that, okay, this is what happened? Will you just say, oh, we don't care about the case because the person who was arrested did not commit the crime, or we don't care about the case because the person who was arrested did not do it alone? I don't understand how that makes sense to 5 million people, but it does because she is a good storyteller. But this is the thing, every once in a while, she would tell on herself, and she did in this clip, like I've said before.
Charlie, wanted to put together the Doge committee. How would that impact the case? We actually don't really care about the case because we're not feeling like Tyler Robinson acted alone and he's the lone shooter. But we deeply care about whether or not and why his friends seem to have been lying to the public. Like we have found these lies. You can't
put it together for yourself. Someone's life was ended, your best friend as you claim. Then you have found out that people are lying like you claim. And you have found out that the person who was picked up as the perpetrator of the crime actually did not commit the crime or did not commit the crime alone. Wouldn't you care more about the case? Rather than making a mess of everything, a little young boy from Utah Valley University caught a stray because he wore a green hoodie to the campus on the day Charlie Kirk was there. As a result of that, that boy got his name dropped to her millions of followers on X. This kid had to come out. Hey, this is just me. I and my friends do this. And she had the nerve to come on her channel and say, well, they put it out. She gave them a clearer picture when people were buzzing about it. And then he had to come out and say this. So imagine that the lunatic who you claim is not the one that has been arrested. The lunatic you claim did not do this thing. Imagine sending that boy's name out there. A young guy, defenseless young teenager in school. You drop out their name like that, something happens to them. One of these lunatic and crazy people who are out here actually goes and hurts them. There was a time when someone who does exploding things did one of those things. You know what I mean? I can't say it. Most of my videos get serious problems with YouTube because of. So imagine someone who does that. And then in their memo had Candace Owens as a what? As an inspiration. And went to X, that person followed mostly funny accounts, and the only real person that person followed is Candace Owens. And then you have she knows already that she has radicalized individuals following her. I'm not saying she could have made that person to do that. I am saying that when you realize that, because honestly, if Candace was being really, let's say, honest to herself, and she was honest to know that she wants to be careful, after that incident where that person wrote her name in his, what do they call these memos? Where these people, when they commit a crime, they have a note they leave behind. Once she realized that someone could commit a crime like that and write her as an inspiration, she'll be more careful knowing that she has psychos, people who are not mentally stable, following her, which means if she puts the wrong target on the wrong person's back, at any time, one of those people could get physically hurt. But you know one thing that it is disgusting to watch, but still unbelievably clear, she doesn't care. She does not care if she hurts anyone in the name of what she calls an investigation. Now, let's ask ourselves, let's do a simple, real investigation, right? An investigation, it's something that should yield accurate results. Let me ask you all, an investigation, what does it have? It has a structure, objectives, ethical procedures, which often follows or mirrors principles of a scientific method. Now, if you're carrying out an investigation, what is the structure of that investigation? What are your objectives? And what are the ethical procedures? She has no ethical procedures. All she's doing is dropping it like it's hot, and whoever catches the stray catches it. It is your problem. What is the scope of this investigation, and what is the problem she's trying to investigate? She has been pretending that she's trying to catch her friend's person, the person who ended her friend's life. But that is not Candace Owens' investigation, definitely. You can tell I've told you guys, hear Candace, don't just listen to her. Don't just listen to Candace. Hear her, understand her. Because once you do, you will see and understand that she has no reason, no use for what is accurate, what is required, and what is not. She doesn't have any preparation. Okay? She doesn't care to follow what happened. After what happened in that place, what happened there, she did not care to go or even look into the procedure and understand what happened before she started the investigation. No, she just went straight to attack without knowing, which is why she's coming up short every time. She has to backpedal. She started to begin with by telling us what that man's Christian standing was. You're not his wife. You're not. She is not taking care of anything. She doesn't avoid bias. No, she doesn't care. The evidence collection, there is supposed to be systematic gathering of all relevant physical and digital evidence and conduct interviews, which is crucial to ensure that she is carrying out a real investigation. She would have had interviews. And there is something that if you have still not believed that it is a reason for this, don't worry, in a few minutes you will see it. Hypothesis development and testing based on data collection, development, after she has collected the data above. How does she process it? Each hypothesis must be tested against all facts and evidence to see which one supports a fact or evidence and which one is just something she should let go. But this is what she does on a daily. She comes there, I just believe she just shows up. Whose name ever they drop in front of her, which she saw on X or wherever, she brings it and drops it like it's hot. She doesn't test it against the evidence. She doesn't look into it. She doesn't compare to see if it is even relevant to the investigation, which is why we have so many theories that have been dropped along the way, which is why we have so many unsolved hypotheses up to now. She has over 200 hypotheses up to now, and none of them she can stand on because she is just going with the wind. There is also something she is supposed to do. She's supposed to do reporting and communication in a way that presents not only concise facts and avoid personal language. I feel that is not part of an investigation. Clearly explain the methodology and how the conclusion is reached, regular updates on making sure that she compares hypotheses, facts, evidence to see that before she brings anything to her audience to say, okay, this is what we are investigating now. She's acting as if she is just investigating whether Brigitte Macron has a penis or a distance. That is just something she can play with, which is first of all very offensive to the if it is not true. But then you don't play like that. It's not Blake Lively's joke with their scandal in Hollywood. This is people's lives you're putting out there with one of the most, let's say, the most hot in terms of how tensions and emotions get when it comes to this situation in a long time in the US history. And you just think that dropping people's name like it's hot, it's okay. Ethics, objectivity and impartiality, she doesn't have it. The investigator must be unbiased and neutral to the outcome, free from any personal or business conflicts of interest. She has come to her channel so many times and she has spewed how many conflicts of interest she herself has. Sometimes she is jealous that she was not invited to speak at the memorial. One time she's complaining that they did not create a group chat to be having conversations. The next minute she is not neutral. One, she is mourning. She can never be neutral. Which is why Charlie Kirk's wife shouldn't be doing the investigation for her husband right now, because there are a lot of things that will trigger her emotions and will hurt her. The next most important thing when it comes to ethical procedures, confidentiality. Maintaining a high degree of confidentiality is essential to prevent harmful gossip, protect reputation, and ensure witnesses are not influenced or afraid to speak up. Candace Owens' investigation and method of collecting data, weakness is just a mess. Trump calls her, hello, we are looking into this. Can you keep it on the low? She drops it on her channel like it's hot. Oh, Now I have found this boy. I was talking to this boy, Nick. Nick was helping me with Phil Lyman, knowing fully well that if Phil Lyman is a danger to Nick, as a weakness, Nick is not safe. I remember having that episode when I discussed this on this channel and I said, Nick is someone I am really worried about because she has given that information in a way that anybody who is in the circle of that information, who knows what is needed, they will know who Nick is and they can harm Nick. She doesn't care. Candace cares about herself, what she wants. Do you think she cares about any of those weaknesses? All those of you who are sending her information or tips, know the day it turns left, you are on Front Street. I am telling you, even her husband is not safe from her. The day he makes a mistake, oof, he's about to receive it back to back. That is the kind of person she is. One other thing when it comes to confidentiality, sorry, there are certain information about the person you're investigating. You don't just put out there because it taints the reputation of the person, right? And it also taints weaknesses and people who are involved in the case, their thoughts of the individual, especially given the individual is gone. Candace has not stopped dropping it like it's hot when it comes to messages from 2018 and 2017 with Charlie Kirk. Oh Lord. Professional interviewing. Using open-ended question. Candace Owens doesn't even do an interview. If someone sends her a tip, she takes that tip and she has a full episode on it. She doesn't go back to check if this tip you sent to me, does it matter? The other day, she started telling us about a tip that someone sent her right in January. In January, she was busy checking if Macron has a P or a V. So she did not care about that tip. It did not help her at that time with her thing. Now that she is on the Charlie Kirk thing and now she's now checking on churches or whatever she's doing, she has linked it to Britney Spears and all those things. Now she has gone and grabbed that one. She has added it into it like it's hot. That is when it comes to credibility assessment. When evaluating evidence and testimony, investigators must assess its consistency and plausibility and how much supporting evidence exists for different perspectives. Oh, Candace baby. Candy baby. Oh God. Look, when it comes to an investigation, I have told you guys, Candace has been telling you all that she's doing an investigation, right? I am happy she finally told you flat face. She doesn't care about the case. All she cares about is why people told her little lies. She forgets how many lies she has been telling out in the streets. No, but in Candace's mind, the only lies that can be told are hers. And she says she can't even fib how someone lies like that and sleep. Candace lies on a daily. God. Anyway, I just wanted us to build on this today because there are certain things that I don't know if it is that a whole group, millions of people. She's a great storyteller. I was fooled for once. But I was never like following her without thinking because there were a lot of things I was always like the Andrew Tate thing. I'll be like, okay, girl, if you think you are that bad, go after Andrew Tate. She will not. Sorry. Now she's after churches. Yes, if those churches are corrupt, fine, baby girl, hammer them. But can't you do an investigation, come to a conclusion, and be sure that what you are spilling out there, you have really real facts to them before you go after it? The Catholic Church, we could start there, girl. We don't want to go after all the priests who have been doing things to little boys. We are talking about Epstein. When we look at the Catholic Church, what they have been doing to children, Epstein will sound like a saint. That's the truth. If we look into the Catholic Church, what they have been doing in Africa, in Europe, in other corners of the world, what those priests do. And this is the funny thing about those priests. They never get removed from the church. No, they are moved from one church to another church. They don't get removed. They go and continue perpetuating the act. Candace baby, can we talk about that? Or it's a non-starter for you? It's a non-starter. Because if we were to assess the Catholic Church, I said it, Epstein will look like a saint. There are documentaries about Catholic Church. There are real life situations about Catholic churches and priests sisters, yeah, people in high places that when you follow them up, oof. Okay, guys, thank you very much for following me through this today. Until next time. Bye.